it's always humbling to be able to come back to your hometown and be asked to speak. I grew up in New York, so it's awful good to be here. I think probably the most important thing to think about in running a small business is sort of the fraternity and sorority that we're all part of. I think probably the thing I'm most proud of is I have run a small business successfully now for over 10 years, which means statistically I've passed the odds of failing it. So if I screw it up, it's truly my own fault. So I wake up every day probably not too differently than any of you do, and try to figure out what I'm going to do today to make my business better and stronger. I run a publishing, speaking, coaching, and consulting business. I'm probably most proud of the fact that I've actually written 5 books on the topic of small business growth, and I did that after working with 350 businesses, helping them to grow. And I took a look and I said to myself, what are the 5 things that every business needs to do to be successful? And I looked at the 350 clients I had, and 2 things came clear to me. Unlike everything we learn about big business and what we learn in business school, business ownership requires every owner to align their own goals and aspirations, and what I like to call their best and highest use, with that of their companies. Because the first catalyst of growth, I find, is if an owner's confidence and conviction is not very, very high, if they find themselves becoming apprehensive or ambivalent, it's almost always the sign of a business that's in decline or starting to decline. So when I think about small business and what a small business owner really needs to do, it's to always make sure that if there's any chance of this confidence and conviction declining, to go back to and ask themselves what's in the way. I kid around a lot about this, but I was making a sales call a few years ago in Ohio to a business owner that was thinking about hiring me to grow their business. And the call was going along pretty well until he said, Andy, you're pretty confident and sure of your abilities. And if you're so sure of your abilities, then of course you'll be happy telling me who your competitors are. And I said, well, frankly, my toughest competitor is inertia. And he said, really? Are they based in Cleveland? And I said, no, they have offices all across the country. And I think that the biggest challenge that we all face, and in speaking with many of you as I was just getting in here, is we run professional services and knowledge businesses. We're not just selling ourselves, we're selling our ideas. And most importantly, we're selling how they're going to be really caused to make the condition of our client or our customer better. We can either reduce their pain, or we can enhance their ability to achieve an opportunity. So before I get too long-winded about all of this, I've been asked to, we were told to brag a little bit, and I thought about what is the one statistic that I'm probably most proud of. And I went back and I looked at it, and if I've made an average of $100,000 difference in every client I've worked with, and I ran the numbers and I have, I've made a $35 million impact on this economy. And I'm proud of that because in a time when large companies are doing everything short of shooting themselves and anyone in their path in the foot, it's up to us, it's up to small business, and it's up to our ability, as Redeemer, our host just said, to really work together to make ourselves successful by helping each other. So thank you for coming, and thank you, Redeemer.
Thank you.